Hi, I'm Charlotte and this is Type Emma Tries to Read. So I'm going to ask you a question now. Have you ever wanted to just ditch everything and just go and live in the middle of nowhere? Or have you ever just sort of tired of social media and technology and just felt like you want to turn off everything and go and live in like a cabin in the woods? If so, you would probably want to go and live with my parents who have done all of those things. Um, as a little brief background, I grew up in a place in Wales where they didn't have electricity or running water for quite some time. And we lived in a caravan for ages while we were doing our house up. And when we did the house up, it wasn't anywhere near at the same level of other people's houses. We lived quite a basic life. And we then went and moved to England and we lived in a normal house. And then they lived in a couple more normal houses. And then about 10 years ago, they decided they didn't like doing that. And so in their 50s, they went and bought a little barn out in the middle of nowhere. And they're still working on it, still doing it up bit by bit. But I'm going to take you there to have a little look. I'm going to ask them a couple of bookish questions just so that it's vaguely relevant to my channel. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good segue into talking about a book I've read that I have really, really loved this month. So here is the barn. So here's the barn, my mum and dad's converted barn. And I'd like to explain all this, but it's confusing. I've been assured that that is a plant holder and that is their water pump, which is pretty modern for them. This is an extension thing. I think they've covered it with books and stuff. It looks really cool actually. It looks like one of those sort of hidden libraries. And then, wait for it, there's an outdoor toilet under a tree. Little decking area and their amazing view. I don't know if you can see it, it feels like it's very dark, but it's not dark, it's beautiful. And then we have a little conservatory, but better close that door, there'll be cats in. This is, they call it the summer house. This is the summer house. This is a new thing. Views of all the sheep and their little chairs. So you can have a seat. Got the paper out, and they've got some electric stuff running off the solar panels. So I don't really understand how it works, but there's a solar panel right out there. Very few. And look, everybody's sitting down now to have something to eat, so I'm going to go as well. Okay, so we're going to go on a little walk. It's not as glorious as it was a month ago because they've got all these amazing camellias. This is the sort of stuff you find at my parents', like rusted milk churns. We do have some bluebells, but these are the last of the camellias really. Very pretty. The lady who lived here before was obsessed, there's another milk churn, obsessed with things like that, so she's got quite a lot of them. Here's a lovely blossom. That's really nice. Can I get that in focus? No. No. Oh, that's better. And then up here is a special tree. Maybe not for the squeamish, but when I had Idris, I insisted that my placenta was buried under a tree. It's under this one. So this is the placenta tree. And I am told that because it was 3 days before they did it, that it had a significant aroma by the time they actually put it in the ground. There's another milk churn. And then my dad historically loves putting steps everywhere. I don't know what these are, but these are everywhere at my house as well. So I'm going to have to ask. We've also got some delicate little blossoms here. Why can't I get anything in focus? Can I do that? Ooh, there we go. And there are some death-defying steps here, look. These are the steps Idris wants to go up all the time. Little pond. Little gentleman sat fishing. And then, let's try not and break. Look, just for perspective, like these steps are not people friendly. Here we go. Should be able to, a cauldron, rusty cauldron. And this is the garden at the back. Not sure why it's not focusing very well. And it's got apple trees and rambling rose, and we'll end with the biggest rhubarb you've ever seen. Absolutely beyond. Don't put your rhubarb in a polytunnel. Raspberry, actually we won't end, we'll go around here. Oh, here's Spike. Spike! Hello! Oh, sorry, hands. Hello, Spike is quite a dangerous animal, so this is an unusual appearance from him. I didn't lose a finger, so I'll consider that a success. This is their rooftop garden, which will be much more bloom-like in the summer. Lots of sheds, wood store, and then we're back at the front. So I don't even know how this... Oh, this is an old... See, this is classic. This is their gate lock. Go through here. The carport, which has a vine and a rose growing on it. And then we're back out at the front with the hippies use the back door. And should we go in? Let's have a look. You can see me. Hello. So let's go and look at the books. Here we are. They're going to be fuming that I've recorded in here with all my dad's things and my mum's crime. She does love a lot of crime. This is the junk room, but this is also where the books are. So we've got quite a lot of history books, the Harry Potters. I don't tend to read a lot of the ones in here. It's the naturey ones I tend to read. So, and little plants and lots of cobwebs, because that's how we roll. This is one of my favourite pictures. Look at this. A little girl with her teddy bear. I always think she looks like she's smoking. I don't think she is, but it always kind of looks like she is. And here I am. Hello. Wait, what's this? Honeysuckle. Oh yeah, well I could use honeysuckle. It'll probably got amazing roots in it. Oh god. You extract it. Oh crikey, that sounded good. Because it's growing. It's a nice leaf though. Why is it so dark? Well, probably the under stress. So it's a sad honeysuckle. Oh Christ, that is we might have to trim that back. So we're here at the barn to ask these two reprobates what they're reading. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, what are you reading?
I am reading The Salt Path by Raynor Winn.
That is all over. That is all over Instagram, by the way. So you're very of the now.
I honestly didn't think I would like it, but I'd read a lot of good reviews, and it is really, really good.
Are you gonna?
It's the best thing I've read for about a year and a half.
Oh wow,
so
that's very good. Are you going to give it to me afterwards? Yeah, exactly. I thought you were going to say. They never pass things on. And what about the? I can see what it is because it's mine.
I'm reading The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hermes Gowar.
What do you think?
It's brilliant. It's a lovely historical novel set in the 1780s with a slight fantasy touch to it. Easily written, easily read, and highly recommended.
Oh, look at that. And it's up for the Women's Prize. So,
lots of sex in it.
Lots of sex. You did tell me it was saucy. You have warned me about that. And is Angel reading anything at the moment? What is that noise?
Oh, it's a drone.
Oh, wow.
Piss off.
You're not welcome here, Amazon. Brilliant. What a way to end the clip. I love it. It's actually watching us.
No.
Wow. Who is it? That's what I want to know. So, that is that. Very hard to explain any more than what you've already seen. Yeah, there's loads of little details there that I just couldn't take in. So I could take you there again and again and again, and there'd be something new. Probably more rusty milk churns hidden about the place, and lots of random ornaments that have been collected over the years. So yeah, I thought that would be a little bit of a change for you to see that. We absolutely love going there. We don't get to go there very often just because Idris is in school now and it never works out with my work, but it's kind of a dream of mine to always go back to that one day. I don't know if it's a dream of Stephen's. I'm working on him bit by bit. We do like technology. I mean, look what I'm doing right now. And you can have that lifestyle with technology. So they actually do, they have a couple of solar panels and they mostly use those to power things like lighting in the evening. They use it for their internet, which they put on sort of once or twice a day, depending on when they need it. So they do have internet. They very recently got an Alexa. So it's such a weird contrast because we haven't got anything like an Alexa at our house, but we have got things like a washing machine, which they don't have, stuff like that. So they have some, my mum does love a bit of tech. She loves a bit of new tech. But they don't have enough electric to power anything like a fridge, for example. So they've got like a gas powered fridge that they use in the height of summer, and the rest of the time, honest to God, they use terracotta plant pots that are filled with, I think, gravel, and then another terracotta plant pot inside, and then the fridge item, and that's kept in the shade outside. That is like their fridge. I genuinely didn't know what it was when I saw it. They didn't have running water for a really long time. Very, very, very recently, and I'm talking in the last 6 months, they have got water that can be used for like baths or flushing the toilet. Before that, it was like buckets that you used, not as a toilet to flush the toilet. Now they collect water, but it's not drinkable, so they don't have any of that, and they don't have a lot of what they collect, especially in the summer. So it is kind of back to basics, and when I go there I realize how like soft I've become living here, or living away from them, not living in this house, but just living away from them. You know, there's so many things I use that I take for granted, like my washing machine. I mean, I must do at least one wash a day, and when they come here once a week, they bring a week's worth of washing, but there's not that much of it because they're not as obsessive about it as me. And yeah, I just kind of find that refreshing. You know, I could take like a sofa throw and just air it, but I don't. I put it on a wash for 45 minutes, which is a bit ridiculous. So yeah, and the reason why I took you there and that got me thinking about that was because I just read this book, Waterfalls of Stars by Rosanne Alexander, My 10 Years on the Island of Skoma. I got this book last year. It's by Seren Press, which is a Welsh publisher. So we sell them in some of the locations that I work in with my job. And I was talking to Mercedes of Mercy's Bookish Musings, and we were trying to choose a book to buddy read together. And so I think she took a photo of her nature shelf because we decided we were going to do like a nature read because we were both into that. And I think this is how it went. Tell me if I'm wrong, Mercedes. But I saw this on her shelf and I was like, well, I've got that. And she was excited because she wanted a reason to read it. Because it is a chunker. It's not a small book. And the print, which I showed you last time, is quite tinsy. But in its defence, the pages are enormously thick. So actually, it's only 350 pages. It's not a huge book. And it has got a good smell to it, people. It is a good one. I don't know what drew me to it, but I wasn't sure what I was going to be reading. And to be honest, this is a classic reason why buddy reads are amazing, because I probably wouldn't have picked this up for years if we hadn't both decided we were going to do it. And I think Mercedes feels the same way. So what can I say? I think it's my book of the year already. I would be really surprised if something overtook it at this point. And I think it will be any fiction book I read, which is really unusual. Like, I pick my non-fiction and fiction books now of the year, and then I choose which one of those I would say is the crowning glory of the year. And I think it's going to be this. I just, to sort of give you an example as to how I felt about it, when I was trying to tell Stephen about it, he gave me like a half an hour in the living room to quickly finish it whilst he was playing with Idris outside, because I really needed to be alone. I couldn't read it with Idris about for this last bit. And when I came out and was trying to tell him, I started crying, which is really weird for me. I am a bit of a crier. But when it comes to books, I don't know, the immediacy of it is lost somewhere. Like, I can cry over an advert on TV, but I find it very difficult to cry to books, even though I'm more emotionally involved. It's really weird. And especially because I'm not often reading in an isolated situation. I'm nearly always reading whilst there's TV on. Either Stephen's watching something, or Idris is watching something, or playing with something really loud, or I'm in the car and I'm being interrupted every 2 seconds with questions. Endless questions for Mammy. So I find it hard to really get in. I've always found it hard to get into a book so that I'm so emotionally involved that I will cry. But this one, I was weeping for the last chapter. I just couldn't stop. So the premise of it is that Rosanne Alexander is with her boyfriend Mike, and they're at university together. And then he is very passionate about becoming the warden of Skomer Island, which is a really small island off the coast of Wales. And there's nothing between it and America, so it's right on that western side of Wales. And, or as we're looking at it there. And she's sort of, she loves him. They're in a relationship. She thinks it's cute that he's so passionate about it. She's enthused by him, but she doesn't have any personal relationship to the island or any particular desire to have one. And then he does actually get the wardenship on Skomer, and part of it back in the 70s is that you had to take a spouse. So she had to drop out of college and get married to him within the space of 10 days and move to Skomer, which is I mean, there's what sort of story is there? 20-year-old having to do an order for food and supplies for 3 months with no, I mean, what 20-year-old could do that? I couldn't even plan 3 months worth of food and supplies, but she was doing things like ordering massive bags of flour, and she didn't even know how to cook with the flour. So it's really incredible, sort of plunging you into this situation. And of course, on Skomer, there was no electric at all, so no solar panels, nothing like that. Any sort of lighting was gas. It was the 70s and 80s, no internet to connect you. There was just a radio. There was running water, but there's problems with that, which anybody who has a limited supply of water will know. I've been there. I've lived on properties where when it's dry, you don't have a wash. So really sort of back to basics, and also a lot of isolation. Now, to me, I know it's the grass is greener scenario, but when I'm having my anxiety sort of flare-ups, this is the dream. I just want to ditch everything. I just want to go and live on an island with Stephen and Idris. Basically that's how I feel. And so there was an element of this that was always going to appeal to me. So I feel it's quite personal. I don't know if everybody would find that instant connection, but what I don't think anyone could deny is how beautifully this book is written. I'm not into birds, and it is a bit of a birdie book, but it doesn't matter that I'm not into birds. She made it compelling. I do like nature descriptions, but when you're literally on a rock and there's just the sea around you, it would make you wonder how many times you can hear the sea described before you start to get bored, but you're not. Every time she describes it, it's amazing. You just feel like you're there. I was lying in bed at night, almost feeling like I could hear the sound of the sea, which I know sounds crazy and a little bit overblown, but genuinely I could. I felt like I was on Skomer, and I felt her pain as well, because when she agrees to go, and she's not really sure she wants to go, she says to Mike, "I'll give it a year." She feels like that's a fairly long shot at it from her point of view. And then as soon as she steps off the boat, she more or less says that evening, I think we should stay here for 10 years. And she only says the 10 years bit because when you're 20, 10 years might as well be 100. It just felt like a lifetime. So she uses that as her excuse to sort of, stay there forever. And of course it's not. So you follow this journey through the 10 years with her, all the wildlife that she sees. you know, she talks about solitude. She talks about the real reality of life when you remove everything else, when you remove buses and work commitments, 9 to 5 office stuff, you know, and even when you remove friends and it's you and this one other person. Yes, they do work with a lot of other people, but a lot of the time it's her and Mike. She doesn't give a lot away about their personal relationships, so it's not one of those books. It's very much, I think, she sort of she brushes off any thoughts that just because she's a woman writing, that she's going to be preoccupied with emotions. She's not. It's her and Skoma. And you get a feel for everybody else. You get a feel for the visitors and some of the people that are involved with them. And you get a feel for her relationship with Mike, sort of, in the end. But mostly it's her relationship with Skoma. And I think that's what makes it so special. Because it's kind of a Walden, you know, Thoreau type thing, you know, a man in a hut. It wouldn't surprise you at all if that book was just about the man and the forest or what have you. But I think it is surprising when a woman does it, and I was thrilled by it because it just cut out everything else. You know, I've got lots of books on relationships and friendships and that kind of thing, and the whole point of this is it was just her and the land and a very specific patch of land that she got to know, I mean, as much as any person can. So I could literally talk about this for ages. I'm going to have to think of some reasons to talk about it again. I'm not going to give up on this book. This is a tiny publisher, and I really don't think this book has had a massive impact. I've not seen it up for any awards, which I am staggered at. It's a travesty. I haven't even seen on the Instagram page of the publisher this book pushed particularly. So I don't really know. I mean, maybe it's because Rosanne Alexander didn't want to do much publicity with it, like on a person-to-person basis. She's got other jobs now. I think she helps with the wardenship that her husband is currently on up in North Wales. So maybe she didn't want to do lots of meet and greets. And I think publishers don't know what to do if an author won't do that. You know, if they're not going to do book signings, I don't think they know what else to do. I just feel like we need to do something. I feel so passionately that if you buy this book and you read it, please, please, please tell someone else about it. And right under, you know, any of my videos, even if the video isn't about this, tell me in a kind of contemporary setting 6 months from now, by the way, I did read Waterfalls of Stars and it was awesome. And if you are a booktuber, for the love of God, please read this book. I think it's awesome. I think it will speak to everybody on some level. And then if you're the type of person who wants to escape from life, I think it will reach you on another level. So I'm going to stop now because I really could go on. You'll see more of this. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that little excursion into Carmarthen and into Mike of the Year. And I will see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.